This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, Gerald Morris from Two Peas on a Podcast joins us for our first ever movie draft. We are drafting a team of sci-fi movies, and you get to decide who has the best list. Plus, the Avatar sequel joins an exclusive club. Gerald gives us his predictions for this year's Academy Awards, and a whole lot more, all in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Monday, January 23rd, 2023.
You know who this is, and you know why you're here. You want all the latest comic book and superhero TV and movie news, and by God, you found it. Forget everything else out there. Forget all the Scientology bullshit. This is the real deal. This is the real deal. Worship at the feet of the holy trio of geekdom, the Jock and Nerd Podcast. Play it.
Check. Check one. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up. Jock it, we nerd it. We funny, disturb it. We jock it, we nerd it. We spoiler alert. Oh yeah!
What's up, listener? How's it hanging? Welcome to the Jock and Nerd Podcast, where we give you comic book and superhero TV and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose.
Boring.
Jock and Nerd. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's a nerd.
Joining us, as always, is a fellow who can best be described as a sentient oven mitt. He's been keeping that hand in his slack hole warm for decades. It's Rug Boy. What's up, Rugs?
I'm fireproof, and I'm brain-proof, I guess. I don't know.
You're fuzzy
What?
and warm, and you smell like old food. It's just like an oven mitt with eyes. I love it. Also joining us, special guest on this episode. You may know him from his show, Two Peas on a Podcast, or his awesome YouTube channel. Returning to the show, Gerald Morris. What's up, Gerald?
Oh, shit.
Oh, you mean that?
Barely joining you. I had trouble getting on here. I'm sorry for the delay, but here I am. What's up, dudes? I'm happy to be back.
Full
Nice
disclosure.
to finally have you.
Yeah, we had some testicle difficulties, but look, we powered through, and we have one P of the two P's. Yeah. Are you made of pea protein?
Yes, I actually wear a giant pea pod around all day. I'm just a pea walking around the streets. It's weird.
Anthony, what's your quick take on pea protein? Useful?
Excuse me?
Pea protein. Protein from plants.
Oh. I thought we had something. I thought you were talking about something else. Moving on, please.
Yes,
Let's leave it at that.
You know what?
Oh, yeah.
For the vegans, I feel you out there, or try the pea protein. Anyways, we have a very exciting show planned. We've got a science fiction draft, and Gerald is here, so of course we have to talk about the Academy Awards. Let's dive in right now.
The Jock and Nerd Podcast.
But before we get to any of that, we have to congratulate one Mr. James Cameron. I know some people don't like him. Some people think he's an asshole, but I could tell you one thing. The man delivers. Avatar: The Way of the Water now, worldwide box office, has passed $2 billion.
Oh, shit.
That's what he needed, right?
In 6 weeks. Actually, he said he needed like 1.4, 1.5 to break even. Like the $2 billion, he said somebody made up that number. The actual break even for the sequel. But what's crazy about this is he becomes the sixth film in all of movies to reach this milestone. The other movies being Star Wars The Force Awakens, Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, and then get this, Titanic and the first Avatar. Motherfucker has 3 of the 6 movies that have broken $2 billion. That is wild.
Wow.
Gerald, comment on this. Have you seen the movie? Is this deserved? And now does every movie is it going to make $2 billion? Is the whole franchise going to make $2 billion a pop?
Hot take for me, guys. I'm not an Avatar guy. I don't get the whole thing. Are you guys into this with the blue people in the water and all that?
The second one got me.
Look, they're beautiful. They're visually stunning. I will give you that. I haven't seen this one yet, in full disclosure, because like I said, I'm not rushing out to see it. It's like 3.5 hours. Like, who has time to do all that shit? You know what I mean?
Apparently lots of people.
Yeah, no, over 2 billion times, whatever. Yeah. I mean, I get it for kind of like the cultural impact that it's had, and Jim Cameron is a stud. I mean, Titanic is one of my favorite movies of all time. I mean, the guy knows what he's doing. You know what I mean? So I don't want to mention any other ones because they might come up a little bit later. Hey, on this episode. But I'm just not a fan personally, but I'm not going to argue with anybody that is, because I kind of get that it's just this phenomenon, you know?
I feel like I kind of in agreement with you. Like Avatar to me is the most kind of like milk toast, not like just blah idea. And even like the design of it and everything is kind of like, yeah, it doesn't really excite me that much. But when you're in the theater and you're kind of this event washes over you and you're experiencing this very visceral reaction to what you're seeing on screen, and it just looks amazing. You can't deny that has power. Like, yeah, Avatar is like the most uncreative, not like kind of uncreative thing, like as far as it doesn't seem like it has any legs as far as like a franchise, but the movie itself is entertaining enough and brings you these visuals. And so like people just want to see that.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Gerald, I think you should see it at some point just because
Yes.
you might get to be in the Oscar nominees, but also because, as Ruggs mentioned, I think when you watch Avatar, I completely agree as well. We've reviewed it on the show and we said the story was kind of meh, but it's absolutely movie magic watching that on screen. I mean, the way the Na'vi look, it's just insane that they look that good. It's like that those things aren't real.
It's a huge improvement from the first.
Absolutely.
Oh, I think it's amazing. I mean, visually, it's just immersive. It's like watching a Nat Geo.
Yeah, but you're watching this and you're like, holy shit, none of this is real. This water's all fake, but you completely buy it. And Cameron has a knack for making like these universal movies. Like the movie is universal. Clearly, it's got international $1.4 billion, just international. It works. But that's why he uses this kind of basic story as just like a device to do all this crazy action and visuals that is universal for around the world. I think it needs to be seen in the theater at least once, because it is shit. Like I would say, I'm sitting there going, I've never seen anything fucking like this.
I feel like the same way about Harry Potter. Like as a concept, I'm like, who gives a shit about a kid who goes to magic school?
Right.
It's like sounds so lame.
Right.
And like, there's nothing cool about Harry Potter or anything, but people fucking love it. And there's like a whole fucking theme park now dedicated to it. So it's like, I guess the experience of the books outweighs like how like boring a concept it is. And I think it works the same way in this. It's just like, yeah, we all understand that you'd rather see James Cameron doing anything but this.
Right. But he is all in.
But that just proves that he could take something that's dog shit and still make it fun. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? It
is a stunning thing. So to make $2 billion movies, you need James Cameron. You also probably could use a Zoe Saldana. She is in 4 of those 6 $2 billion movies. Oh. So there's a couple of threads there. So that's all you need. James Cameron, Zoe Saldana, you get $2 billion. Now, if he puts out a franchise of 5 movies and they all hit fucking $2 billion plus, I've never seen that happen. That would be wild.
You got to imagine they would, though, right? I mean, because every movie. I mean, what was it, like 12 years between these two or something like that?
But now they're coming out every other year.
So, I mean, you got to think it's going to get better and better and better, at least visually, and kind of to what Rugg and Anthony were saying too. Like the story's probably going to get better too, or you would hope that it would. So, I'm going to check it out, guys. I mean, I know you're disappointed in me. I just sometimes you just don't like really gravitate towards, something. Like it took me forever to even get on the Lord of the Rings films. Like I love them, but I mean, it took me like 10 years to watch those. So I just need to kind of come around to it. And I do understand everything you guys are saying. It looks beautiful. It's probably going to get a bunch of nominations tomorrow. I mean, I get it. I know it's a whole thing that I just need to get on board with. So.
We'll just slide right into what we were going to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
I know by the time this show comes out, it'll be kind of irrelevant because the movies will have been nominated. But if you had to predict, will Avatar be a Best Picture nominee?
I mean, I don't have it in my personal predictions, but I I mean, it's probably sitting. They're doing 10 this year. They don't always do that, so
Right.
we're going to have 10
10's
best
a new
movie.
thing. 10
Yeah.
started last year.
Yeah, so they're going to be doing 10 this year again, and I think it's probably sitting around like 7 or 8 in terms of like just what we've seen so far in the award circuit. So it probably will be in the nominations, and kind of like what you guys were saying, because you look, a few years ago when Black Panther got nominated for Best Picture.
Yep.
I mean, these are movies that like bring people out to the theater. Another one would be like Top Gun Maverick, which I also think is going to get nominated.
Yeah.
So
I think Top Gun's a lock.
Yeah, I do too. So Top Gun and Avatar, those two movies alone, and you could argue maybe Elvis too, because that had a really big summer box office numbers.
Mhm.
And that's a pretty accessible film. So those three films are kind of like the general audience films that, if they get nominated for a lot of awards, people might tune into the broadcast because they're interested in those movies. Whereas a lot of the independent films that, I love all that stuff too, but I also love a lot of the independent cinema that maybe, my great uncle in Iowa has never heard of. Do you know what I mean? So he might not tune into the broadcast. So
What about
I think they have to do a little bit of both.
What about Wakanda Forever? Any shot at Best Picture? I know Angela Bassett's going to win Best Supporting.
Yeah, that's its biggest. I think that's the biggest shot it has right now is Angela Bassett. She's pretty much like 98% sure she's going to win Supporting Actress.
Yeah.
I think the movie's right outside the top 10. I think it's probably like around 12 or 13 overall. But, with Chadwick's passing and the optics, and that might be getting into their heads a little bit when they're doing their voting. I mean, who knows? I mean, to me, it's, I enjoyed Wakanda Forever, but I feel like it was also the same movie as the first one, just with that underwater kind of world added to it. The costumes were the same. Yeah, I mean, it kind of looked the same as the first one.
Yeah.
Right.
And they nominated it that time around. So I don't know that this one did anything different or necessarily better than the first one to get it into a Best Picture nomination. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. If they mention it tomorrow, I would be like, okay. But then you got to look and say, well, who's going to be snubbed? Because if Black Panther gets nominated, a lot of people would be happy about that. But it would also be hard to argue that there was not a snub as an outcome there, because something's going to miss.
Let me ask one more for Imran.
Yeah.
Any chance RRR gets
Come
in the
on,
Best Picture
RRR
nominee?
can slip in. It can sneak in somewhere.
You know what? RRR actually is 11. It's really, really close. It's actually closer than Black Panther. So
In your list or just in your general?
I mean, just in general, like general consensus. I mean, it's I'm guessing it's around 11.
Gotcha.
What really sucks, Imran, for RRR is that they didn't put it in international feature. I mean, India didn't submit it, so that was just
it's not a running for international
bonehead
feature at all.
Right.
Oh.
That was just a bonehead move. I can't even remember the movie that they did submit. I'm not saying it was bad. I'm just saying it's not the phenomenon that RRR is. So
I mean, it would be weird for them to pick an international film as Best Picture. They've done it in the past year. They're starting to do it.
yeah, I mean,
They usually
Parasite was one of
slide
my
in
favorite wins ever, and that was international. So
Drive My Car was last year, right?
Drive My Car got nominated last year.
Oh,
I mean,
that's
they're
right.
definitely
Yeah,
giving more love to those independent or those international films too. But I think RRR, here's what's going to break my heart is there's this movie called Women Talking that is literally on the fence. Like it's the 10 or it's not in there. And I think a movie like RRR would kind of be the nominee to knock Women Talking out of the conversation for Best Picture. But that would be unfortunate just because I felt like it was a very important film for just the viewpoint of women, not necessarily in Hollywood, but just like in general. It was a very generic kind of story surrounding women's struggles throughout history, really. And it was directed by a female. It starred an all-female cast with the exception of one actor who did really, really well in it as well. But that one's going to end up getting snubbed if something like Black Panther or RRR sneak in. But we were saying with those other films like Avatar and Top Gun, RRR is a fun movie that doesn't take itself very seriously. People have just a fucking great time with it, watching it. And that would be a very popular pick, I feel like. And I feel like people would really like that if it got nominated. I would too. I really love that movie. So I wouldn't be disappointed by it by any means.
Well, if you look at the Oscars in 2021 Oscars, excuse me, for 2020, the ratings were the lowest ever.
Yep.
Then you flip to the next year, they had some bigger, more popular movies in there, and the ratings jumped back up like 6 million people. So
Plus, the slap heard round the world helped.
Plus the slapper and how heard round. But that was towards the end of the show.
Yeah, that was. Worth. By the time people heard that and tuned in, it was over, and you just had to catch it. That was wild.
So I think there is a little bit of that. Hey, especially with 10, we can slide in these bigger budget movies or these ones that people have seen because we kind of need to if we want to keep this thing on TV.
That's what I'm thinking too, and I'm thinking that might creep in a little bit to their psyche, when they're kind of doing their voting. I mean, voting's over now, but when they did their voting,
right?
And we'll see how it shakes out. I mean, my 10 are out there. I've got Top Gun Maverick in there. I think Everything Everywhere All at Once is the front runner, really across the board.
Imran's doing backflips.
I love that movie, and I know Michelle Yeoh's been winning things, and Ke Kwan's been winning things, so the movie seems to be picking up steam. But like Anthony said, by the time you hear this, listener, the official Oscar nominations will have been announced tomorrow morning. So, Gerald, I know you put out a great video on your 2P's YouTube channel, but I wanted to pick your brain and maybe in some of the top 4 categories I have listed here: Best Actress, Best Actor, Best Director, Best Picture. Talk us through who you think's going to win and some of the nominees you think should be up there. Because it's like Christmas Eve for you, isn't it? How excited are you?
It is. It's exciting. I had to take off work tomorrow. I can't. I just can't be around the public during this whole thing. But okay, well, we'll just do the big ones that you mentioned. I mean, Best Director, I think Spielberg is the name. It's a movie essentially about his life and how he became a filmmaker, how he got involved in the Hollywood game, if you will.
Yeah.
As a young kid, as a teenager, I just don't see them not taking that opportunity to recognize that story.
He's the GOAT.
And and he's obviously the GOAT. So I think Spielberg's your winner for Best Director. That wouldn't necessarily be my votes. I would probably vote for the Daniels for Everything Everywhere, personally.
Yeah.
Of the ones that I think are going to get nominated. This, of course, is contingent upon all the nominees that we expect to get in there. So I would say Spielberg is probably Best Director for The Fabelmans. It's a movie I was lukewarm on.
Yeah, was it good?
It was a good movie. You hear everything after or even before it, and you just think, wow, this is going to be the fucking greatest thing he's done since Jaws. You know what I mean? And you go in, you're just kind of like, it had great scenes and there were some great performances, and his direction is really, really good in it. And he has a personal connection to the story. I don't know. It just kind of felt melodramatic at times to me personally, like it was kind of trying too hard. Okay. But it's not a bad movie. It's just not his best. You know what I mean? He's done much better movies in my opinion. Okay. So. But I think they'll give it to him because, it's Spielberg, and it's a movie about him, so directed by him, too, which is a courageous thing for him to do. Best Actor is fucking crazy, guys.
Let me throw this at you. The ones I'm hearing are, was it Colin Farrell or Fraser?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the 2 tops?
Well, it's a 3-headed monster, really.
I'm not as into
Austin
it this
Butler.
Year, by the way, as you can tell. I'm not
Bums me out, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not messaging you on the side about this. I lost my way. But go ahead. Sorry.
I know.
Not to make this.
I know. Well, you came on and did all this discussion with me. What was it, last year or the year before? I think.
Yeah, it was COVID. Great. I really had nothing to do, so
he was Roman Polanski, Anthony. And
I call myself Roman. That was my Roman Polanski, Anthony.
Oh, he's Frank Grillo, Anthony, or something. I don't know.
Nice. I love
it. Oh, that would be great.
I'm just TikTok, Anthony. Anyways, go ahead.
It's a 3-headed race, really. It's Colin Farrell and Brendan Fraser, like you mentioned, but Austin Butler for Elvis too, portraying Elvis Presley. Those are the 3, and they've all been winning in various areas. Brendan Fraser, I feel like, is the darling because he has his comeback story. He was out of movies for like 10, 12 years, didn't do really anything. Was rock bottom, thought he was out of the business. He gets this opportunity from Darren Aronofsky and turns this really powerhouse performance that, frankly, is like the only really great thing about the movie. There's other good things about it, but it's just not a great, great film. So it doesn't have the fanfare around it. But what does is his performance. He literally carries the film. My personal favorite is Austin Butler because I'm a big Elvis fan. And I think he just really encapsulated Presley and just, he pulled it off. But I think I'm predicting Colin Farrell to win it. For the Banshees of Inisherin, because this guy, you guys know, you saw him as the Penguin, I'm sure, this year.
Yeah, he was really
he was such a great, quiet performance in Banshees. Another movie that came out earlier in the year called After Yang, which was Sci-Fi, by the way. was another great, like, tender, dramatic performance he put in. He was in that movie 13 Lives about the miners that saved the kids.
He was also Bullseye in the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie. Who would have thought that guy would have gotten this far?
But I mean, the guy, my point is that the guy just like acts circles around Hollywood. I mean, he is just his whole career, like everything he does, like he's memorable. He usually puts in a top tier performance, and he's done so many great things, and he's just never been recognized. So I feel like this is kind of that Leonardo DiCaprio equation where it's like it's time to give him something.
Yeah, he's never done
yeah, and he is really good in Banshees too. So I think it's a deserving award for him. But that's who I'm going to predict to win. But I will tell you that if Fraser won it, I wouldn't even blink an eye. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
I haven't seen Banshees or The Whale. I did just watch Elvis on HBO Max, and Austin Butler did an amazing job. Like,
so good, man.
You forget that you just think it's Elvis. Like, he looks like him, he acted like him. The movie is crazy.
Yeah.
Baz
Luhrmann. Yeah.
Putting you got Elvis music and you got like Doja Cat in the soundtrack going on. I'm like, what the fuck is going on in this movie? I liked it though.
Yeah.
It was good. Baz Luhrmann's crazy.
Yeah. Austin Butler performing his own songs and stuff. I mean,
he sang a lot of the thing. He was amazing. Ruggs, you said you saw Banshees recently.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice.
What'd you think of the Colin Farrell? Yeah.
I think it was good.
Okay.
I didn't think it was like, I mean, I think he's always good. So it's hard for me to say like how great he was in this movie when, he was just the Penguin and he was just as good as that, I think, a lot. I mean, this movie, he has to kind of transform a little bit more, like in his performance. Like he starts out as this happy-go-lucky guy, and then he kind of turns into kind of not the nicest, happiest guy in the world. And so you see that transformation, and there is like moments of like emotion and that and quiet moments and stuff like that. So he does do the whole gamut in that film. It's not, it's kind of a more well-rounded, like total character performance.
I gotta watch that. That's on streaming too. What is that on? A lot of these movies
it's
are
HBO Max, I think now, right?
Yeah, it's on Max. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very quiet performance for sure. Like it's weird that this is the one that he may get, recognized for, because it's not like that Oscar performance where you see the clip of a guy throwing shit off the table and screaming at his wife. I mean, it's not that kind of performance. It's very subdued and it's very like
intense.
Human.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. You really connect with him because it's like a real human kind of reaction that he's playing out in that movie. And it was a really beautiful performance, I feel like.
Everybody in that movie's good though.
Oh, they are. Yeah, absolutely. Kerry Condon is really good. Gleason, I mean, him and Gleason getting back together, as a great duo. When Martin McDonagh is the director, he knew what he was doing there too. So, I mean, it's a really kind of like, it's a dark comedy, I would say. Rugg would agree with me, I hope, but I think it's like, it has funny moments, but it's a really touching movie too.
Okay. Because I couldn't get a read on what.
Well, it's like an allegory for like the war in Ireland and how people don't get along for strange reasons.
Yeah.
Right on. And then what about Best Actress there?
I mean, I'm giving it to Michelle Yeoh, man.
Yes.
Me personally, I just think she's just, I mean, her story is so awesome in Hollywood. Her main rival in this category or competition is going to be Cate Blanchett for Tar. You could literally flip a coin, but those are the two. It's going to be one of those two. I'm giving it to Michelle Yeoh. I just think she has a little bit more fanfare. It would be more of a popular pick. Cate Blanchett's a multiple nominee. She's won before. And Michelle Yeoh is kind of like new to the game, even though she's been in Hollywood for like 30 years. So it's a really cool story.
Yeah, she's done Hong Kong Kung Fu movies. And
she's been around forever, man. So she's just finally getting her due. So I hope they award her for it. And her performance was, I mean, it was so versatile because she's playing so many different versions of herself in the movie.
Yeah.
And while Cate Blanchett was phenomenal, I mean, she was my favorite part of Tar easily. She's the same person.
What is Tar about?
It's about the rise and fall of this very popular conductor.
Okay.
And her name's Lydia Tarr.
Okay.
And she's like a world-renowned conductor, and it kind of shows how, I mean, I don't want to give it away, but essentially it shows how the changing tide, like social media and stuff like that, kind of ruins her, so to speak.
I've heard a lot of interesting things about it.
Kind of like an allegory for J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, actually,
Shit. Yes. Good analogy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Best picture.
Then, Best Picture, I'm going to go Everything Everywhere. I think that.
What are the contenders with that, though?
I mean, in my mind, nothing. But the Academy is going to love, the Fabelmans are going to love Banshees of Inisherin.
Yeah, those are the two I've heard.
I think those three movies are like the Oscar, like the Academy's probably top three consensus. Mm-hmm. If you could see, which you can't see 1, 2, 3, but if you could, that would be my guess of what the top three are. I just don't know the order. I think that a movie that's coming up super hot that might shock everyone is All Quiet on the Western Front.
I was just going to ask about that because I watched that also this week on the Netflix.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So powerful, man. What'd you think? Yeah.
One of the best gritty, realistic war movies I've seen in a long time. Of course, if you read the book, it's World War I. It's trench warfare. It's told from the a German soldier's perspective. And, just the way they contrast with the kids going in, they are happy and excited to go to the front line. They have no idea the hell they're about to go through. It is a long movie. It is hard to watch in a lot of spots. There's a lot of visceral violence, but holy fuck, this is like Saving Private Ryan good, I thought. It was like one of the best war movies I've seen in a while.
Yeah, I agree, man. The imagery and just, the story, the acting. I mean, the score in this movie is so haunting and unforgettable. Like it's almost like a horror movie score in a war movie.
There's those strings in there that just get your goosebumps going, and it's stressful to watch at times.
Yeah, but I think that because All Quiet on the Western Front, is like you said, it's based on a book. It's also a remake from a 1930, I think, or 31 movie that won the Academy Award. The original did.
Yeah.
So I think the pedigree with that movie and that it broke the record at the BAFTAs a couple weeks ago, which is the British Film Awards. It got nominated for 14 awards there.
Did it win? How many did it win?
No, nothing.
They haven't had it yet.
Oh, they haven't had it. Okay.
So, but what's funny is that nobody was really predicting it for much of anything, and it got 14 nominations.
Holy shit.
So I think people are kind of taking notice. So that could be a sneaky kind of spoilery upset, All Quiet on the Western Front. But I think Everything Everywhere or The Fabelmans are probably your top two. And I definitely prefer Everything Everywhere all at once. So I hope that's what takes away.
Yeah, that's great. All Quiet is very interesting because it's not a pro-war movie by any means. So, and I think they like to, but Everything Everywhere is an incredible fucking mind-bendy experience that leaves you thinking about your own life, right? At the end, the way it's laid out. And it's so creative. So unique and original. So I wouldn't be mad at that, sweeping everything. Now, the 95th Annual Academy Awards will be airing March 12th of this year. ABC hosted Jimmy Kimmel returning for a third time. So I guess he doesn't mind getting smacked around a little bit. What do you think the ratings are going to be after last year's big fucking thing? And is Will Smith going to get a nomination for Emancipation?
I don't think he will. The performance was actually really good. It's actually really unfortunate, what happened there in the public eye with that, because, he did turn in a really good performance. I got to be honest with you. When I saw it, I was like, wow, because you have an actor like Bill Nye for a movie called Living that literally nobody's seen, myself included, because I can't see it. It's not streaming. It's not playing near me. He's probably going to get nominated. I'm not even saying that's unworthy because I have no idea, but I think this year, because we just talked about the three-headed race with Butler, Farrell, and Fraser. Yeah. But those last two spots are literally wide open. Like, some people think Tom Cruise is going to get in. Some people think Bill Nye. Like I said, there's a young man named Paul Mescal from a movie called After Sun that might get in. Some people even have Adam Sandler in their top 10 for Hustle.
Oh, shit, really?
He just got nominated for the Screen Actors Guild for that role, which is ironically the day after Netflix announced they're going to be carrying the SAGs. So I don't know, but there's a lot of actors kind of in the mix for those last two spots. And I feel like Will Smith probably had one of the better performances of the year in Emancipation, but because of the kind of fear of the publicity, it's just not being talked about. He hasn't got nominated anywhere else. So I don't see the Academy taking a chance on this guy that came up on the stage and slapped Chris Rock last year.
He can't show up to get the thing anyways. They've already banned him. What's the problem? It'd be weird though for them to give him this accolade after last year. Here's the other thing that's crazy: Colin Farrell's never won an Oscar. Tom Cruise has never won
I know.
An Oscar. So do they look at this and go, let's get he's 60. He's jumping out of planes. He's jumping off cliffs. The man could be dead by this time next year with his sons.
I don't know. I mean, I love Top Gun Maverick. I mean, such an introspective performance that was really emotional. It still had the, balls to the wall action that we love from that series, but he did really turn in a performance that was kind of like a reflection of his career in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So I could see them, I know he got votes. I know people voted for him. I just don't know if he got enough votes because seeing, the transformative things that Brendan Fraser did, and Austin Butler, particularly, we already said that Colin Farrell's would probably be like a resume pick for the most part.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise has done some of the drama stuff that he got nominated for, like Jerry Maguire and Magnolia. So I don't think this is his last dance, Imran. He might die on the set of Mission Impossible. I hope not. I don't know, man. I think he's still got some dramatic roles left in him, especially as he gets a little bit older. I mean, look at Clint Eastwood. I mean, he's almost 100. He's still acting, so.
But Tom Cruise had some hard-hitting drama roles, and then one day he's like, you know what? Fuck it. I want to jump out of a plane. That was it.
He's in the phase of his career where he's just doing what he wants to do on screen.
Hey, look, man, I hope he gets nominated. I have him in my 5, and a lot of people don't. So I hope he gets nominated. I think that would mean a lot for him to get nominated for this franchise that essentially was part of that kind of recipe that turned him into a superstar. And like I said, I know that he really takes a lot of pride in that Maverick character and had a lot of, pull in the production and stuff like that. So I know he would be proud of a nomination for sure. So I hope at the very least he gets that.
All right. So March 12th, you'll know already who's nominated by the time you hear this. March 12th is the Oscars. However, the very next day, there is a much better award show occurring that you should definitely be a part of, and it's called the Golden Peas, Gerald.
Yeah, man. So, I just urge everybody listening to go to 2peasonapod.com/golden peas. Just to give you a quick backstory.
Not what you think, but maybe it is.
It's safe, I promise.
Trump's not into this, is he?
No, but I'm so glad you said that, Ruggs. So to give everybody a little quick backstory, me and my ex-partner, Andy, that used to be the co-host with me on 2Ps, we started the show back in 2016, and there was that whole thing going around about Trump getting peed on or whatever. And we wanted to do like a year-end award show. We're like, well, we got to call it the Golden Peas. That's like what everybody's talking about right now. So that's how the name, and it was a play on words for 2Ps. But essentially, it's graduated to this thing where we just honor the year in film. I poll basically everybody on Twitter, all my listeners, to vote, and they actually helped me come up with the nominees as well. And this will be the first year that we'll be doing it visually, so it'll be on my YouTube channel.
Oh, great.
Like Imran said, on March 13th, and then we'll also have a podcast version of it as well that people can listen to. So there's all kinds of stuff on my YouTube channel about it. I'm making little video edits for all the nominees, so you guys can see the different categories and who got nominated. And the ballot is open to vote through the middle of February. So if you're listening to this, I'm sure Imran will drop the link below, but just make sure you click on that and cast your ballot before mid-February, and then I'm going to tally them up, and we'll have the ceremony on March 13th. I'm excited for it.
I have to say, I like your thumbnails on the YouTube videos.
Listener,
oh, thanks, man.
Subscribe to Gerald's YouTube. It's a lot of fun. I'll put all those links will be in the show notes, but I highly recommend give him a subscribe. You'll not be sorry because, you have a lot of fun videos. Your beard is amazing right now. You still have that.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thanks, brother. I'll tell my wife you said that. I don't know if she really agrees.
You look like an Amish MMA fighter or something. I don't know what that look is. But
I'll take it. I think that's a compliment. Also, can I tell him real quick, Imran? So this will be a little insider tip for the Jock and Nerd listeners.
Ooh.
But Mr. Imran himself is going to be one of the presenters the Golden Peas.
Oh,
he's going to be presenting the award for Best Action Movie. Do you guys want me to tell you the nominees?
Well, before you tell us the nominees, have you seen what Imran looks like? Are you sure you want to do that?
Yeah.
I might break your YouTube. Listen, I'm going to break YouTube news. Just put a bag on my face. It's fine.
I mean,
it's
I don't know.
Baghead.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Now I'm tuning in.
Yeah, right.
If that won't get you to watch. Maybe I'll have a shirt on. Who knows? You got to tune in to watch.
Oh, God. Well, if you do it shirtless, that'd be the best.
So, real quick.
What are the nominees?
What are the categories?
So the category that Imran's presenting is Best Action Movie. So the nominees are The Batman, The Northman, Prey, RRR, and Top Gun Maverick.
Solid picks.
We know what Imran's vote is.
Solid picks. I'm torn.
You sure you want him to do that? He's going to hijack that thing. Anything that wins, he's still just going to say RRR1.
He's going to do the Moonlight La La Land thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're like, oh shit, no, I meant this one. Oh, those are great picks in the action category. I kind of dig all those movies. I just watched The Northman recently. What a wild!
Oh, you checked it out? Yeah, because you told me you hadn't seen it yet.
And I was like, I'm gonna watch it, and it was fucking great. So
yeah, so good.
Yeah, no. And what are the? You have any other? What are your categories for this? For these?
It's aside from action, we'll be doing best animated movie, best comedy, best horror movie, and then we're doing an award for female performance, for male performance, and then best movie. And we also have 10 nominees.
Perfect.
Here's the ones that got nominated for us, because it's going to definitely vary from the Oscars, which I think is interesting.
Yeah.
But real quick, I'll just run through the 10 that got nominated for my best movie, which was The Batman, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Menu, Nope, Prey, RRR, Tar, Top Gun Maverick, and X.
Wow.
Whoa, that's an eclectic list.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, for sure.
The Menu I got to watch too. That's on HBO Max.
Mm-hmm. Just came out a couple weeks ago on HBO.
Movie of the year, right?
Yeah, that was my favorite horror movie of the year, and it was definitely one of the more popular ones. Just Ty West. He also did Pearl this year.
Wow.
So he's got a lot of good stuff. He's a great horror director.
This is an award show I can get behind. That is a great list.
We don't want you behind anything, Ron. All right?
I'll stand in front of
Jesus Christ.
Especially
you on camera.
Where's your other hand?
We just don't want him involved.
Yeah, can we just change the direction?
You can see me on the Golden Peas, the best award show name ever in existence.
It's the second time he's been on something called the Golden Peas.
I hope it's enjoyable as the first time I was on something. Well, anyways, that's Monday,
Keep
March.
Your hands under this version,
Monday,
please.
March 13th in the evening. I'll have a link in the show notes. That's exciting. I can't wait. I'll have a fun time there. Listen, we're going to take... Oh, and the Razzies came out. Also, I wanted to mention that, but we don't have to go over that. But let's just say our boy Jared Leto and Morbius getting all the love over there at the Razzies.
Oh, shit.
Probably win. Worst picture. With that, though, we're going to take a quick break, play some promos. We're going to come back, and we're going to do our first ever science fiction movie draft right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Was A Quiet Place inspired by Signs, It Comes at Night, and War for the Planet of the Apes? Was Ready Player One influenced by Avatar, Wreck-It Ralph, and The Last Starfighter? Is The Hurricane Heist more influenced by Sharknado or Geostorm? These are the kinds of questions my guest co-hosts and I discuss on my podcast, Piecing It Together. Every week, we look at a new movie and try to figure out what other movies inspired it. Whether it's the story, the character development, tone, or even use of music. Every movie was influenced by something that came before it, and we want to figure out what. Check out Piecing It Together on your favorite podcast app, or check us out on piecingpod.com. You can also follow us on social media at piecingpod. Piecing It Together is a part of the All Points West podcast network.
What's up, everybody? This is Mr. Throwback Thursday from the Mr. Throwback Thursday podcast, along with my co-host Bill. Every Thursday, we bring you classic hip-hop.
Classic.
Classic. You know, all the good stuff, the stuff that you forgot about, the golden age, pre-golden age, back to the original era.
For all the pioneers, I'm going way back.
Each week we bring you hip-hop headlines, so we let you know what's going on with your favorite artists from back in the day. We bring you Wu News. We dedicate an entire segment just to the Wu-Tang Clan every week.
Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with.
We bring you 2 records. One is a one and done. One is a record of the week. We give you an artist of the month. We give you all the classics.
Classic.
Classic.
Come and check us out. Every week we're on iTunes, Stitcher, and at MrThrowbackThursday.com. And if you remember nothing else, always remember, new school stale, old school fresh.
Jock and Nerd.
Listener, if you enjoy this podcast, you can give back to this podcast. You can join our awesome Patreon fan club.
Jock and Nerd.
Visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon, where you can support the show on a monthly or annual basis. And you get stuff. You get access to an exclusive podcast feed where there's bonus content. Shows come out early. You get to join us in our monthly Discord hangout. And this month's hangout is this week, Thursday, January 26th, 8 p.m. Central Time. Rugs, don't forget this time. I'll remind you.
Oh, my God. You got to tell me like a bunch of times.
Before you go out and start drinking, I'll tell you. And you can also choose any movie and force us to watch it and review it. A lot of fun things over there on the Patreon, jockandnerd.com/Patreon. Okay, I'm very excited.
Geek boner.
Yes, for our first ever science fiction movie draft. And if it sounds like a sports thing, It kind of is. So I'm going to turn this whole thing over to Anthony the Jock.
Yeah, well, this is first ever draft. This category is sci-fi movies for this draft, so we're not doing multiple sci-fi drafts. Imran, come on, get it right.
Sci-fi movie one draft.
One draft for sci-fi. We might
Okay.
do another draft for something else. If anyone's ever listened to the Big Picture podcast, I've taken this idea from them, and I'm doing this with us because it was fun listening to that, and it's fun doing these oddball type shows. We were doing tournaments, now we're doing drafts. So the basic premise here. And listener, if this is confusing, you'll kind of understand it as we go along. But there's 4 of us here. We're going to go snake order draft. I'll reveal the draft order in a second. And what happens is you pick a movie and you assign it to a category. That category then gets taken off your list, so you don't have to pick any other movies in that category. But the catch here is that movie also gets taken off the list for everyone else. So they can no longer pick that movie for that category. For instance, if we were doing a horror draft, and it was slasher film, and I picked Halloween as my slasher film. No one else could pick Halloween for either slasher or any other category they thought that would fit in.
Okay, got it. Done.
Understand?
So Halloween is off the board for all the other movies then.
Exactly. So
shit. Okay.
Yes. So
and then it's all for your slasher, for yours personally.
Yep, it's all for everything. So yeah, exactly. So the way this works is we'll each pick a movie, we'll assign it to a category. We don't have. You can pick it in any category you want. So if Gerald picks a comedy first, and Imran wants to do an action movie for his pick, he doesn't have to pick a comedy. He can go right to action.
And what are the categories?
Yes. So the categories for this draft are action sci-fi movies, comedy sci-fi movies, giant monster sci-fi movies, mindfuck sci-fi movies, sequel sci-fi movies, classic pre-1980s sci-fi movies, and then there will be a wild card category, which means you can pick whatever you want in that category.
Ooh, okay. Man.
So, with that in mind, everyone kind of understand the rules. Anyone have any questions while we're on live?
No, I think I'm good. Yeah.
Good. All right. Well, the draft order will go as follows. So it's snake order. Gerald got the number 1 pick.
Oh.
Then it would be Imran, Rug Boy, and then me. So we'll go in that order, but it's snake order. So I'll get the 4th and the 5th pick. So Gerald, not to put you on the spot, but you're our guest here. What is your number 1 pick, and what category is it being assigned to?
God damn you, Anthony. When I do fantasy football, I hate getting the first pick too. But I tell you what, it's between 2 movies really, and I know neither one of them are going to probably be left when it's my turn next. So I just have to pick the one that's closer to my heart, I guess.
Before you pick, for the audience, sorry to interrupt. For the audience, when we are done with this, we will each have our slate of 7 movies, 28 total movies, 7 assigned to each person with 1 category assigned to each movie. And we will let you, the listener, the Jock and Nerdlings, vote on who got the best slate of movies. So we're asking for your involvement as well. At the end of the show.
Interactive.
Yep.
It's interactive.
Gerald, you're the big movie guy. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, man. Let's do it. So, yeah, like I said, it's one of 2 picks, but I'm going to go this pick. I feel like maybe it'll get me a little more votes. It's probably a little more revolutionary. We were just talking about Mr. Steven Spielberg. So I'm going to go Jurassic Park.
Oh.
To start things off.
What category?
And I'm going to, it could be a couple. I think I'm going to put it in, let's do giant monsters.
Oh.
How about that?
Perfect.
That's a good
How
one.
about that?
That's how it's done.
That's how it's done.
Tell us about Jurassic Park. Why do you love it so much?
I mean, come on, man. Seeing this, I mean, dinosaurs. Like, what is it? Like, little boys and dudes just love dinosaurs, you know? And they took that kind of like childlike just wonderment that we, for some reason, is just embedded in our minds. And it's just such a spectacular action movie. There's a little bit of horror kind of in there, too. It's funny at times. The direction is pitch perfect. Jeff Goldblum is fucking unforgettable in this movie. It just has such a special place in my heart. I can remember seeing it on the big screen, and I've seen it many, many times since then. And I was just in awe of it when I saw it the first time. Just these dinosaurs brought to life, this kind of revolutionary CGI that we got at the time. And yeah, it's just killer, man. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. So Spielberg's the GOAT. So that's why I had to go ahead and scoop it up, man.
I love that pick. I remember seeing this movie in a movie theater and being in awe and then completely terrified by that third act.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
what a roller coaster seeing that movie in a theater as a child.
And it's great this was my top pick for the giant monster category. Some of these categories were hard, so I was like, God damn it, fucking took that out. Perfect for that category. But they've never been able to make another Jurassic movie as good as the first movie, which is, important. But yeah, it's an all-timer.
Imran, you're up.
Oh, fuck me. All right, look, well, I'm just going to take my number one pick for this, the action category. I want to get this movie off the board. I'm actually surprised I can pick this one, being second. And it's going to be the winner of our 90s action movie tournament, Terminator 2, for the action category. That's my pick. And
that was the other one. That was the two I didn't know which one to pick. So great pick, man.
That one I had right away. I was like, oh, I know if I could get this for this category. What else has to be said about this movie? We just talked about Cameron making billions of dollars. The lore, after the first one, I was so into this movie. The visual effects, never before seen, and it's got Arnold, and it's Terminator 2. It's the best action movie of the 90s, according to our tournament.
Yeah, that's a fantastic movie. Not much needs to be said about that. Ruggs, you're up.
Well, I'm going to follow Imran's lead, and I'm going to do the 80s winner, which is Predator, who demolished all the competition and somehow came on top of the best 80s action movies. And, it began the Predator franchise. It's Arnold, Carl Weathers, and Jesse the Body Ventura, and I'm sure I'm forgetting some other people in that movie. It's just Titans walking among us. And so it has to be, I want that on my team.
Which category do you have that assigned to?
Action, obviously.
Action. There you go. Action. Well, Predator is a great pick as well. So no qualms about any of that. All these are good picks.
Yeah.
I'm up now. I get to pick twice. And let me just take a look at my list. I did some prep here. So
did anybody have trouble with any of these categories?
No.
I had to stretch a little bit in my research for the pre-1980 category.
That one was a little tricky.
Well, for my action movie, I am going to go with Aliens.
Oh, son of a bitch.
I'm taking that off the board as a sequel, by the way, just as an FYI. But Aliens is an all-time Cameron movie as well.
Yes.
Some would say I may see an argument for it being better than T2 Judgment Day. I think it's the best Aliens movie in the franchise. I think it's the movie that makes Ellen Ripley and Sigourney Weaver an action star. She can walk amongst all the male action stars after that performance. What's great about it is Cameron takes an idea, a premise from Alien, and turns it into something else.
Yeah.
Makes it an action film, takes a horror film, makes it into an action film, but it still has all that DNA that the Alien had. It's the logical next step in that movie that you wouldn't have predicted coming out of Alien, but it makes all the sense in retrospect. So Aliens is fucking great. So at the core, it's about a mother protecting her surrogate daughter, fighting against a mother protecting their surrogate their kids, and it's an amazing movie. So Aliens is my action pick.
Solid. The man makes good sequels. Cameron makes good sequels.
So
he knows what he's doing.
I get another pick.
Oh, you son.
Yay for me. So with that, I am going to pick. Let me just make sure I got my list. I'm going to go in the comedy section.
Oh boy.
And I'm picking Ghostbusters as my comedy.
Good one.
Yeah,
good one, man.
Ghostbusters is my comedy pick because as a kid, I don't know how I watched a movie with 40-year-old middle-aged men and came out of that movie wanting to wear a proton pack or whatever the hell it's called and fight ghosts. Like, how is that possible that a 9-year-old me would watch Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, whoever the hell else, I'm losing the names of who else was in that movie.
Harold Ramis, Ernie
Harold
Hudson.
Ramis, yeah, and think those guys were cool. But it convinced me to think those guys were cool. Great soundtrack.
Sigourney Weaver again too.
Sigourney Weaver.
Oh, yeah.
You got to run on Sigourney Weaver.
I got Sigourney Weaver all up in this
all day.
Who is the keymaster or what?
You
is
the gatekeeper. I'm the
gatekeeper.
Rick Moranis is great.
So I wanted to take this off the board because I know there's some comedies that are held in high esteem, and I wanted to take this one off the board. So Ghostbusters.
It's a good one, man. Good one.
Rugs.
Well, I'm going to follow suit also, and I'm going to take one of the great comedies off the board.
Shit.
Probably one of the best movies ever made, and it's Back to the Future.
Oh, son of a
Goddamn
bitch.
right it is.
That is a really good pick.
I mean, I don't even need to explain
how
fucking great that movie is.
I wanted that movie.
Yeah, but I took it, you fuck.
I didn't. I'd never seen that movie until the pandemic.
What?
And I watched it.
Oh wow, really?
I loved it. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
like,
it's
this
one
is
of my
amazing.
all-time favorites, man.
Back to the Future is a fucking awesome movie.
That would
Imran.
have been my next pick.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that was.
Sorry about that.
That was my top pick too for that category.
Uh-oh.
2 of my picks are gone now. Do I want to try to grab a comedy movie, or do I plant my flag in another category? Fuck me. The sequel one is also a tricky one. Oh shit. Okay. Let's go to the mindfuck category.
Ooh.
Let me
nice.
see if I can grab this movie. And the movie I want to put in there is The Matrix.
Ah, you fucker.
The Matrix is definitely a mindfuck movie, as well as a solid. Could have been in the action category.
Yeah.
Could have been a lot of places, but
Are we all agreement? Matrix, mindfuck?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, oh, yeah, it was in my mindfuck options too.
Gotcha.
I mean, again, runner-up in our 90s action tournament. What more needs to be said about this movie? Also changed the way movies are made going forward. And you're never quite sure if you're unplugged.
Changed lives.
Changed people's lives. Sometimes I just look up and be like, is somebody playing me? Are you controlling me? Like, you don't know what's happening. So that's, taking The Matrix off the board.
Mm-hmm.
Another all-time movie.
Yeah, another great pick, man. Okay, so I'll tell you what. I'll jump to the sequels category and give me arguably, I say, because it's not necessarily my personal opinion, although I do love it, but arguably the greatest sequel of all time in the science fiction category, and that's The Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, I had that.
Ooh.
That's a good one.
So I'll take that.
Wow. That's fucking a monolith of a movie.
Yeah. So, I mean, the whole Star Wars canon, I'm a huge fan of, but I feel like this one kind of stands out even to this day. I mean, so many decades later as kind of that one foundational piece of the entire franchise. It just, people just kind of go back to that, the story of Vader and Luke and the twist in that movie. Cause we didn't have social media. We didn't have the internet. I mean, you couldn't really get spoiled unless you really tried to back then. And, that twist, I'm your father, just fucked people up, man. And it was, it's one of those things where like, I wish the internet didn't exist for my kids. Cause they like, you hear it. It's just so pop culture, like zeitgeist, but just such a great world that Lucas built. And we can't escape it, guys. It's everywhere you turn. Star Wars.
That's the best Star Wars movie there is still.
All right. So with that being said, what the hell do I do now?
Oh boy, where are you gonna go?
Tell you what. All right. So that was my sequel category, right?
Yep.
Anthony,
You've knocked out your giant monster and your sequel.
So I think I'm going to do Mindfuck as well, because I feel like that's a thin category. But I'm going to go Christopher Nolan's Inception.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I had that. What do you think? Was he dreaming? Does the top, spoilers for all these movies, every people see it. Did the top move at the end? Was he awake? It's great.
No, I think he was dreaming. I mean, that's what I've always kind of thought. I thought he was.
The ambiguous ending makes that movie, though, right?
Yeah. This isn't my favorite Nolan film. I mean, I don't want to mention any others in case they come up tonight, but I do think that it was just visually just like, holy shit. Like, it literally was a mindfuck. Like, you're literally just like, what did he just do with the camera and the effects? And
shit is bending. The buildings are bending over before Doctor Strange, right? We saw it in Inception.
Yeah. Marion Cotillard is amazing in this. DiCaprio's an all-timer. So, I wanted to go ahead and scoop it up.
There you go.
Good one.
Rugs. Or no, Imran. Sorry.
It's back to me. Is it? Was it? Okay. You know what? Let's go back to the comedy. There's a lot of great sci-fi comedies. And the one I am in between a couple of these. No, you know what? We're gonna do this one. probably one of the funniest movies growing up that I could watch over and over again. It's going to be Mel Brooks' Spaceballs. It's got to be Spaceballs.
That's a good one.
Classic. I mean, my Schwartz is bigger than yours.
It's very memorable.
Quotable. Funny, she doesn't look Jewish. I'm a mug. I'm a half man, half dog. I mean, I could do the whole movie. It's fucking fantastic. Super funny, super silly. Star Wars spoof. It fits right in comedy. You guys took my other picks that were really good. So
Spaceballs is great, man.
Yeah. Rug boy?
What do I need to do? I did action. I did comedy.
You've done action and comedy, correct?
So let me get into. Let me get to the classic.
Oh.
All right. I'm gonna pick something that I feel like had a lot of cultural impact and is still a wonder to this day. And it's made by a master filmmaker. I'm going with 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Oh, okay.
Nice. Okay.
That was
It has
good. Yeah, classic.
Artificial intelligence going crazy. It had gorillas, or monkeys with the monolith over there. And it was a very well-directed masterpiece. So there's a lot of other ones that I would have chose, but I feel like that one is an important one.
It's trippy.
Yeah, it's one of the most influential movies ever, too. That's for sure. I mean, they just did. I don't know if you guys saw it, but Greta Gerwig is coming out with the Barbie trailer, and they just did like a kind of a spoof on that for the trailer. And it's like, what, 50 years later?
Yeah, who doesn't spoof that? The Simpsons spoof it, and it's fucking trippy as balls for a movie from the 60s, right? Like, people were not expecting that journey.
So I'm up next now, and I'm trying to think how I want to do this. Well, I'm going to take this just because I know there's only one other person. I'm going to make my giant monster pick right now, and it's got to be Godzilla 1954.
Of course.
And that could have fit in a couple categories, obviously, but this is an all-time monster movie. This is the movie that somewhat started the genre. There's some other stuff, but definitely started the kaiju genre in Japan. And this is before Godzilla became a joke. Highly recommend anyone that likes movies to watch the Japanese version of this film because it is horrific. It's a sad fucking movie. There's some imagery in there. I mean, I'll never forget having the mom with the little two boys telling the boys that they're going to see their father pretty soon as they watch Godzilla stomp on everything. Their dead father.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fucking horrifying. So Godzilla 1954 is my giant monster pick. And then my sequel, I'm going to go with my sequel right now. I'm going Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Oh, man, I had that. Shit, that's a good one.
That is the newest franchise.
Matt Reeves, the second Matt Reeves
of the Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. That movie has no business being as good as it is. And it has amazing mocap. The Caesar Koba storyline is freaking fantastic. I love that movie. There's no reason that movie should be as operatic as it is. But
that's the second one, right?
Yeah, it is the second one. Yeah, of the new franchise.
I like War was great too, but Dawn is very good.
They're all good. That whole trilogy really has no business being as good as it is.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
But this is like one of the only. I mean, you guys can disagree if you want, but to me, this is like one of the only trilogies where they like remade the classic movie, and I think these movies are better. Which is kind of insane to me.
Yeah.
Because I was a big fan of the original Planet of the Apes growing up, but Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is, to me, the best of this new trilogy, and it's just similar to like when we talked about Avatar, where it's just a wonder watching that movie. Except I think the themes in this movie and the characters, like we're talking about characterization of chimpanzees.
Yes.
And you fucking care about these characters. So amazing movie. That's my pick.
The mocap is amazing. Andy Serkis is amazing. Yeah. Good pick.
Ruggs, back to you.
Okay. I did action. I did comedy. I did, what else did I do?
You have done
Classic.
Yep.
All right. So I got Mindfuck, I got Monster, and then I got Sequel.
And Wild Card.
Wild Card too.
Okay. All right. I'll wait for Wild Card later, but Mindfuck.
Ooh.
We did Matrix, right? We did Inception.
Yeah, that's
Inception off the board.
And I have like 3 that I'm really, really want to do. But which one is the one?
Neo was the one.
Well, I'm going to go with Edge of Tomorrow.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, that's a good pick.
Yeah, I had that up there. That is
because it's a mindfuck movie, but it's also highly entertaining.
Yeah.
And I feel like even though it wasn't popular when it came out, anybody who's seen it has been like, that's a fucking good movie.
Love that movie so much.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Tom Cruise is great, and just the
Emily Blunt, dude.
Emily Blunt is fantastic.
Oh my God, she fucking owns that movie, dude.
I love how they just throw you into it, and you're like, wait a minute, like you kind of have to figure out what's going on as it's happening. Yeah,
it's got a lot of elements of like other movies that could be in this category, but it does it in such a like not a because a lot of these like mindfuck movies are like these obscure indie films, but they were somehow kind of like The Matrix. It took all these kind of elements from like other things and put them in this like perfect package.
That's Doug Liman, right?
Fantastic
Who directed that one?
Yeah.
Doug Liman, who's also doing the Roadhouse remake.
I know, which is shocking. What happened, Doug Liman? Give me another Edge of Tomorrow. What the fuck? I want a sequel to that.
We are halfway through, guys.
Oh,
and
shit.
Imran, you are back up.
All right, I'm going to go. Let me grab a sequel. A lot of my sequels have been taken off the board. So we get in there, and I'm just going to pick a movie we've been talking about. You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going Avatar: The Way of the Water. It's better than the first movie. It's joined the $2 billion club. The movie is stunning and effects, which I've never seen before. I'm throwing it in. It's a new movie, but I think it's a strong contender, and all my other fucking picks were taken.
Nice. Okay.
Even though Gerald,
I like Way of the Water, even though Gerald shit on it.
Well, that's high. I mean, I haven't seen it. That's high. I do want to see it though, guys. I just I got to rewatch the first one. Then I got to see this. It's like 7 hours.
You don't even have to rewatch the first one. They recap it pretty good. Just watch a YouTube
okay, all right.
video. It's fine.
Okay, all right. Maybe I'll do that then.
Geraldo, you got the next 2.
Yeah, Imran helped me out. So I'm going to do, because I have 2 back to back. So I'm going to go ahead and do my pre 1980 and my comedy. So for pre 1980, I know Anthony was talking about the sequel earlier for his sequel pick, but I have a really crazy story about this movie. If you guys want to hear it, I can keep it brief, but I'm going to take Alien from 1979.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. Yeah, that fits right there.
Ridley Scott. I saw that. My parents rented that movie on VHS tape when I was 8 years old, and I peeked through my bedroom door and watched it without them knowing.
Oh, no.
And the 10 or 15 minute period that I was watching was the chest burster scene.
Oh, no.
And fast forward to 40 years later, I'm a huge horror fan. So I don't know. I think that movie kind of started it all for me. But
wow.
Yeah,
I have a similar story. I remember playing the Alien video game at the arcade and going, Mom, Dad, we got to rent that movie. We got to rent Alien. And I'm probably like 10, somewhere around there. And the chest burster scenes happens. And I'm like, the rest of that movie, I'm watching it between like my eyes. Like I'm between my hands. Like I'm just like slips in my hands trying to watch that movie. I'm like, this is nothing like the video games. What the hell is this? My parents are like, what did you rent this for? What is this?
What games have you been playing?
Yeah. What is wrong with you? So,
I mean, I have a similar story, but with the sequel, I watched Aliens when I was like a young teenager, and I legit had nightmares that night of the fucking xenomorphs. The movie affected me so much.
Yeah, well, really, Scott, I mean, he just did something masterful in this movie, too, because, he kind of lulls you with it a little bit the first, 30, 45 minutes where they're kind of wandering around. They're lost. They don't really know what's going on until they get on the ship, and the claustrophobia kind of sets in. Yeah. But, after that chest burster scene, it's just, a different kind of movie. Oh. But it really did kind of blindside you. You know, he kind of got you into a safe, kind of, comfortable space, and then it's just holy shit, what happened?
Yeah.
So I love that movie. It's one of my all-time favorites.
Go ahead, Gerald.
And then for my comedy pick, guys, we're a bunch of dudes here. It's got to be Weird Science.
That's a great one.
It's got to be. I mean, let's create Kelly LeBrock in our bedroom. I mean, what else? I mean, dude, what else would a 16, 17-year-old boy want?
That's on my list.
That was on my list. One of my favorite fucking comedy sci-fi, just comedies. I could watch this movie over and over again anytime it was on. You wanted to build that machine and get a doll because of how well it worked for them. Bill Paxton has a great role in there. That's a fucking
Bill
great
Paxton.
movie.
Oh my god, so good, man. So I revisit that one every few years, and it just still cracks me up.
That's what the problem is.
There
On
you
the
go.
telephone? She calling you on the telephone? Anyway, that movie's great.
Imran?
Oh shit. Okay. Well, I have an action. I have a comedy mindfuck sequel. I'm gonna go to the classic pre-1980s category, and it's got to be the movie that first made people watching a movie believe a man could fly. It is Superman, 1978, Christopher Reeve.
Okay.
Another movie that when I saw just like as a kid, I was all in. One of the first superhero movies to make it big and to take it kind of seriously. And I think it's like one of the greatest. Still holds up. Superman,
100%. And I mean the score too.
Oh yeah, classic John Williams, iconic score that sometimes sounds like Star Wars, and I get confused. He just reuses things.
I only wish he had a better villain in that. I mean, I liked
Luthor, Gene Hackman.
I like Gene Hackman, but he didn't have a physical.
It's Tessmacher.
Yeah, Miss Tessmacher.
Yeah, I mean he's not
And
going to.
Otis.
Yeah,
I love
Otis is fucking great. Oh, Mr. Luthor. I mean he's not going to punch fucking Lex, but he was diabolical. And got him in a chain and kryptonite in a pool and stuff. So great stuff.
Rug boy.
Oh man, trying to think of what I should do here. Giant monster movies. You took Godzilla 54 off the board.
Jurassic
Park is off the board.
Correct.
Yes.
There are some very well done giant monster movies or large monster movies like that are really acclaimed and well done. I'm going to pick the most obscure one, but it's one that should be seen, and it's The Host.
Okay, that's a good one. I've seen that.
Yeah.
Tell us
about The Host.
Yeah.
The Host is basically like a mutant like fish that can walk on land. Kind of starts gets out of this lab and gets into the water in the river, and then it just one day people are just hanging out in the park, and this shit fucking jumps onto the surface and like starts attacking everybody, and it actually like grabs a member of this family, and all of the family like kind of is in shock and like they don't know what to do, and they just decide we're gonna hunt this shit down and find our missing family member. And they do, and they confront it, and they kill it. Spoilers, but it's the whole movie is like, it's really, really memorable. I only saw it like a few times, and I still remember it very vividly.
I think it's
So
on Hulu. I think you can watch it. It's good.
I don't know if the effects hold up as well as when they came out, but when the effects, I saw that like for like a low budget movie from another country, I was very impressed.
That's a good.
And the monster's very strange looking. It doesn't look like anything you've ever seen.
Gerald, have you seen The Host?
I don't think I have. Do you remember who started it? I don't think I've seen this.
It's the same person who made Parasite and made it, I believe. No, I don't think that's true. But
Bong Joon-ho?
it's Bong. Yeah, it's Bong. Bong did that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't seen this one.
Yeah, this is a good one to put on our radar. I haven't seen this either.
For sure.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
check this out. Well,
Yeah, I think
go ahead.
Underrated. Yeah.
No, go ahead if you got any more.
No, that's it.
All right, cool. Well, I've got the next two, and I'm being strategic on this next one. So for my classic,
Yeah.
I'm going with the original King Kong.
Oh shit! Oh, I didn't
Stop
think about
motion
that.
animation.
Yes.
I'm also taking that off the board as a giant monster run.
Oh
So-
shit! I didn't even have that over there.
Okay. Well,
Another one.
classic story. It's been redone so many times, but King Kong's height fluctuates in the entire movie. But I mean, for 33,
Yeah.
34,
It's a classic.
pretty damn good. Pretty damn
Yeah.
good. Probably the oldest movie that's going to be on this list. I wanted a very eclectic list. I also wanted two monster movies in here, and this was my only way of
Got 'em.
sneaking in one. So King Kong is my pick. I remember watching this movie so many times as a kid. The VHS was extra thick because the cover, you could press on King Kong and it would roar.
Oh, no
the VHS
way.
would roar.
There was
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a
yeah.
speaker in it.
There's a
Whoa.
little like button speaker. I
Oh
remember
my
it
God.
vividly. I love all the fights. I love him fighting the T-Rex, the snake, or whatever the hell that was, the pterodactyl. I was so sad at the end that he fucking falls off the thing when he fights all the helicopters.
That stop motion is iconic.
It's stop motion. I mean, they don't make movies like that anymore. I mean, they had to freaking move that guy like inch by inch to create all that shit. That's real movie making back in 1933. So King Kong is my pick for my classic, and I'm going with my wild card pick on this next one.
Okay.
Well, my wild card pick, I'm sneaking this in because this has not been picked yet, and I want to take it off the board. Dun 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 dun. RoboCop is my wild card pick.
Oh shit! That's a good one.
I'm taking that off the board. This one made it to the finals of our '80s tournament. It's Paul Verhoeven at some of his bloodiest. Fantastic movie. The RoboCop series really took a dive after this one, but you watch this one, and it's just about a man finding his humanity within a robot suit, and has no business. Another one of those has no business being as good as it is, but it's the 80s. They're trying shit out, and RoboCop is it's a fantastic movie. It's another one of those movies similar to Alien, where I watched it as a kid, playing the video games, and it was like way more violent than I thought it should be. I was like my mom was again like, Anthony, what are you doing? Like, what are we watching these fucking violent ass movies for?
It's another one of those action R-rated 80s movies that eventually became cartoons and toys.
Yes.
Which is also crazy to think about. They made
Right.
toys of it.
And that's me. So I'm getting looped in because of the video games and the toys and the cartoons and all these movies, RoboCop, Alien, Terminator, Predator, all have like very dark origin movies that like are not suitable for a kid at my age that was watching them.
Yeah.
So RoboCop is my pick for my wild card.
You got RoboCop in there. Damn it.
I did.
Nice.
Yeah. I got a pretty nice roster so far. Rugs, you're up.
So I got sequel and wild card left, I believe, right?
Let's see. That's what it looks like.
So I don't know if I want to use my wild card yet, but that doesn't matter. So sequel. I'm going to go with Wrath of Khan.
Oh, that's a good one. Star Trek 2. I had that shit on there too.
I almost feel like writing 50 ends at the end of that Wrath of Khan.
I fucking love that movie. It's great. It's the best Star Trek movie. So you gotta throw it in there.
We reviewed it. It has the
I'd say so.
first, very earliest use of CG computer graphics in a movie also. But yeah, Khan that's a fun.
We reviewed that and I actually liked it.
Right?
Yeah.
If Anthony liked it, like if it was enjoyable to Anthony, it means must hold
Come on,
on.
Ricardo Montalban, Mr. What's his name from Fantasy Island?
His chest glistening. Like it's classic.
Fantastic.
You also got the weird body horror with the snake, the caterpillar going in the guy's ear.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was weird.
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
And then you just had like fucking Shatner just being as smarmy and fucking arrogant as possible, and I love that.
Great pick.
That's a good pick.
Yeah.
Great pick. Imran.
Okay, let me do the giant monster here. I believe this movie does fit in this category.
Hey, well, let's see.
It's from the GOAT director. It is the original blockbuster summer movie that started it all. I'm picking Jaws for my giant monster. Yeah, it's a giant monster. The shark.
Yeah, but is it science fiction though?
Yeah, is that science fiction?
No,
it's not science fiction.
Oh man.
I don't know about that
the
one.
shark does not act like a normal shark. That's science fiction.
Right, but is he altered by science?
Oh, I might have to redo
I don't know.
this.
We have to. I don't know. None of us agree with.
I don't know if I agree with it being giant monster nor science fiction. Really.
Okay, maybe I forgot about the sci-fi part that I was going giant monster.
I would have definitely taken it a long time ago if it was eligible.
It's not, I mean, this shark is a science fiction story. All right, okay, fine.
I don't think the shark is if the shark was mutated, maybe.
Well, how do we know what?
Kong is a natural. I don't know. Kong
is King Kong sci-fi. That's the same thing.
Kong is 11 feet tall, and he's fighting dinosaurs on an island that's made up.
This is the biggest shark they've ever seen. They needed a bigger boat.
I think it's just a great white.
It's a great white. Okay, all right.
What do you? Well, I know Gerald. No. I'm probably.
I've never heard. I love Imran, so he can have it as far as I'm concerned. But I've never heard anybody call Jaws a sci-fi movie.
Maybe that's a stretch. It's been voted off the island.
I think that one's not a sci-fi movie.
All right, well, that's fine. I have plenty in this list. Then in that case, I was going
I knew this would happen once, and if I could have predicted, Imran would be the
I
guy.
just like how before we started this, Imran showed his like locked in sound effect, and he has yet to use
and I
it.
didn't use it at all. I'm not using it. Fuck it.
You don't need it.
All right. You know what? In that case, the movie I'm going to take, and it's only because I have it on my list, but it was just on HBO or it was on TNT or something. I was watching it and I was like, yo, I forgot how dope this is. It's Godzilla versus Kong from a few years ago.
Oh, good pick. Which one? The latest one?
Yes, the latest one.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole scene, I just watched the whole sequence where they're transporting Kong on the boat.
It is great.
And Godzilla flips it over, and then Kong flips it back, and then he's jumping from battleship to battleship, and then he dives. Oh, it's fucking great. I was like, wow. And if you just cut all the people scenes out of that movie, it's the perfect giant monster movie.
Well, I mean, there's some shit that would never happen, like Godzilla blowing a hole into the center of the earth, and then Kong climbing up it in like 2 seconds.
But then you got like
it would take him like a year to do.
Yeah, he just falls down. He's there. You got the inner world. Then you got the fucking WWF battle in buildings at the end. And then Mechagodzilla was also that was kind of cool.
But that's a fun
that was
movie.
cool too.
Yeah. So
and it, it made, I think, like $300-400 million while the pandemic was still going on, and people were limited. There was like 20% seating in the movie theater.
And it's getting a sequel. They're making another one.
Yeah, it's good. No, that's a great pick. I like that pick a lot.
Better than Jaws. I understand.
Yeah, Jaws was a questionable pick. Great movie. I don't know Sci-Fi though.
All right. Yeah.
Gerald, you got your last 2 picks here.
Yeah, man. Well, this is one that I strategically left action open, right? I still have action left, I think.
Really?
You have action, yeah.
Man.
It looks like you have
good ones
Wild
been
Card.
taken.
So I hate this because there's like 5 movies that I want to pick, but only have 2 picks. But I think this one will successfully fit into the action category. I don't know if Imran's going to try to get revenge for the Jaws thing, but for my action pick, I'd like to take Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. Obviously, the animated film from a few years ago. I just think it's revolutionary. The Lord Miller style, the way it looked. I took my son to see it when he was like 7 years old, and I can remember it was so impactful for him, too. I can remember him walking out of that movie theater. They had like a Spider-Man there because it was like the premiere weekend, and he was taking pictures with the kids in the lobby and shit, and it was just such a like emotional thing for me as a parent. But we left the theater, and Miles' whole thing in the movie is like anybody can be Spider-Man, anybody can be the hero. And my 7-year-old, as the credits are rolling, he looks over at me, he's like, Dad, can I be Spider-Man? It was just like really an emotional thing, like he connected with it on that level. And then obviously I loved it too for the comic book lore and Spidey and like I said, the animation. So it's one of my favorite movies of the last like 5 years or so. So
that's the thing about Spider-Man and why I've loved him ever since I was a little kid is the essence of it is anybody could be under that mask and you think it's you. And they've got that right. And I'm excited for the sequel. It's gonna be
sure.
That essence of Spider-Man is when they fuck that up, like Amazing Spider-Man 2, that's when they really screw things up. And when they're able to lock in the fact that it's just a random kid that gets bitten by a spider and just does the right thing, that's the best part. That's the essence of Spider-Man. Is he does the right thing despite the fact that it will hurt his personal life.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and then for my wild card pick, man, to wrap up my team, I can't believe this is still on the board. One of the greatest horror movies ever made is John Carpenter's The Thing.
Oh, that's a good one.
From 1980.
Oh,
and
shit.
It's a horror movie. It's a mindfuck. It's action. It's all these categories, except for maybe comedy. But I love this movie so much. And like I said, it's one of the best horror movies ever made. One of the best creature features. It's got just some practical effects that'll just literally blow your mind. You won't believe that they were able to do the things that they were able to do in that movie. Not having the advancements of technology and stuff. It's just crazy. It's really scary. It's just like a deserted island winter setting. It'll just fuck you up. I don't know. What do you guys think about The Thing? Are you guys into that movie?
Oh, yeah. I saw it a while. I haven't gone back to it, but because I feel like it takes a while to get going. But once it gets going, it's pretty compelling, and yeah, it stays with you. The effects and how well done these practical effects were, and just the crazy shit with the dog and all that stuff.
Yeah, dude. And it's the paranoia too. Like you don't know who is, like anybody could be the thing, you know? And it really kind of puts you on edge. The paranoia, the person standing next to you could be the fucking monster, you know?
Iconic
It's crazy.
poster also.
Yeah, for sure.
You know that poster, right? Of the guy in the suit with the light coming out. So it's a great story in the Drew Struzan documentary. If you ever watch it, he did that poster. And the reason it looks like that is they came to him. They're like, we need you to do a poster for this movie. We don't know who's actually starring in it or what it's going to be about, and we need it tomorrow. So he had to just paint a guy. They gave him basic, vague things that's going to happen in the, where it's cold at the North Pole. That was it. The fucking poster was wet when the delivery guy came to pick it up the next day to ship it off to them. So he cranked that out in like one night without knowing what the fuck the movie was.
Wow.
And it becomes this iconic fucking image. It's a great poster.
I'm going to be that guy. I haven't seen it yet, so I got to see it one day.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely worth watching.
Imran,
I had
your last pick.
Wild card. I'm down to my wild card. I had the thing
Jaws
in there. I'm going to go Jaws. Can I get Jaws?
The Revenge.
For the Revenge. Jaws 3D.
Can I go Titanic on my last? No,
I'm going to pick There Will Be Blood. No, that's not how this works. You know what?
You can pick Sharknado. That's a sci-fi.
That is
you could do Sharknado. Yeah.
I had a list here, but I'm not. I got this other movie that I'm surprised hasn't put in anything. And
it's your wild card?
This is my wild card.
Okay.
Kind of a horror sci-fi movie also. I'm putting in the original Terminator. Might as well get all the Cameron movies in my list. I have a thing for him. But come on, that original Terminator works as like a horror movie, as a sci-fi movie, and the flip for Arnold to play a hero, a villain, and then a hero. Like I don't think a lot of people have got to do that with the same role. And that first movie, as low budget and guerrilla filmed as it was, has so much energy and sets this world so well. And and it's a time loop and it's great. Terminator.
And I mean, what's great about, there's so many great things about that movie, but it's a slasher flick.
Yeah.
And it juggles a horror movie, a slasher horror movie, sci-fi, action, love story, and it interweaves all that stuff seamlessly. Like it never feels like the tone shifts from one thing to another. It just kind of is all these things.
Yeah, it's Cameron, man. He knows what the fuck he's doing.
Yeah, and Gerald's still just pissed off that he's wasting time on Avatar.
Yeah, let's get back to Terminator.
$1 billion movie.
Rug Boy, we got your last pick here.
I have so many movies I would have picked for a lot of these things, and it's very strange to try and boil them down to 7 strategically that, and people took some of my picks. So I'm going to close this out with another master of disaster director who's fucking balls to the wall crazy. And he came out with a movie in his like 70s or something that fucking still is crazy. And that's Mad Max Fury Road.
Oh, that's a good one.
Like no one walks out of that movie going, yeah, it was boring. That's not going to happen.
That's a damn good pick.
I had that in my sequels too, but that's a movie that you overshadows the original and you forget. You don't even know there was like a first one.
You don't even need it.
You don't even need it. It's got a great dog and Lord Humongous and just some insane practical stunts. That's great.
The visuals in that movie, the color.
Excited for the Furiosa.
Witness me.
Yeah, and he's still doing it. He's still throwing people around in the air with flames out of their guitars and shit.
Unbelievable. Yeah, no, that's a great pick. That didn't even cross my mind. Fuck. Good job. Fuck, man. Well, I close this out, and I only have left is my mindfuck, and I've been debating on what my mindfuck was going to be, and I'm going to go real mindfucky. It's a movie we reviewed on the show. I unfortunately wasn't able to attend this show, so I wasn't able to participate in reviewing it. At the time I watched it, I didn't really like it. But looking back on it, I'm like, you're going to do a mindfuck movie, mindfuck the fuck out of me so I don't know what the hell just happened type shit. And that movie for me is Annihilation. Is my mindfuck movie.
Wow. Yeah.
Because
you didn't like Annihilation? I love that movie, man.
Well, I didn't at the time, but as I've grown, as time has passed, I'm like, that movie's a mindfuck movie.
Yeah.
That movie really...
Well, all of that director's movies are mindfucks. In fact, Ex Machina was up.
Yeah.
That was on my list too. For mindfuck.
Machina would have been a good one. Yeah.
I just wanted to go with So it was for me. It was between this and Total Recall.
Yeah,
but I wanted to do. If I'm going to pick a mindfuck movie, I wanted to do something that was almost inaccessible to like 85% of the population. So that was my thought process: is go with Annihilation. Go with something that most of your friends will never want to watch. I mean, that fucking ending where Natalie Portman's dancing or like being mimed by the weird
Those
fucking
weird alien thing
that in the shimmer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what the fuck was that? That's exactly what I want out of mindfuck movies. Yell out, what the fuck was
You're
that?
like, what?
Yeah. I want to be kind of pissed off that I watched it type shit.
Yeah. Alex Garland has gotten progressively just stranger and stranger, but it's always very interesting. Like, it's hard to look away. You know, like he just did that movie Men this past year.
Oh, yeah.
Which was also a mindfuck.
Mm-hmm.
That was the worst of his 3 films, but Ex Machina is great. Annihilation. I freaking love Annihilation. Natalie Portman's awesome in that.
You got the Oscar Isaac cutting his stomach open.
Oh, yeah. No, that all his movies are great mindfuck movies. That's a solid pick. I like Annihilation.
Do you want to? So how do we close this out? Like we picked them.
Well, we have
movies.
our teams now.
No, yeah.
That's
We just recap our teams real quick. So, either I can do it for everyone, or if each of you want to lay out your movie.
Yeah, I can.
I have mine.
Yeah, I can list
Gerald,
them.
go first.
Gerald, go first.
So my team, which is, I mean, clearly the best, but I'll let you guys judge here. But Jurassic Park was my giant monster. Let's see. Empire Strikes Back was my sequel. Inception was my mindfuck. And then I had the classic pick, which was Alien. Weird Science was my comedy. And Into the Spider-Verse was my action movie, and The Thing was my wild card pick.
Perfect.
That's a good lineup.
A solid lineup right there.
Imran, what's your roster?
Oh man, I don't know about my roster anymore. Vote for me, listener. For action, I have Terminator 2.
Good.
Comedy, I have Spaceballs.
Good.
Mindfuck, I got The Matrix.
Yeah.
Sequel, I went hard on Avatar: The Way of the Water.
Okay, that might
That might derail the whole thing. Classic Superman, 1978, Christopher Reeve.
That's a good one that I didn't think of.
Wild Card is the third James Cameron movie in my list. The original Terminator. Giant Monster, Godzilla vs. Kong.
All right.
I like that list.
It's a weird list,
that's
but
not bad.
it might pan out.
Holy shit.
Ruggs, what's your list?
I went with, for my action movie, Predator. And for my comedy, Back to the Future. So I'm thinking I'm doing pretty good over there.
Yep.
My classic is 2001: A Space Odyssey. So not a very accessible film for a lot of people, but a classic nonetheless.
Yes.
For my mindfuck, I kind of chose a little bit of a lighter fare, Edge of Tomorrow, which is like a fun mindfuck movie.
Yep.
Then The Host was my giant monster movie. I was going to pick Cloverfield, but I backed onto The Host instead. Then I have my sequel, Star Trek Wrath of Khan, and I closed it out with Mad Max Fury Road.
It's a damn good list.
That's a good list, too, man. Those are some great movies.
I'll close it out. For my action, I went Aliens. For my comedy, I went Ghostbusters. For my giant monster, I went Godzilla 1954. For my sequel, I went Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. That's a typo there. I got to take that out. And for my classic, I went King Kong from 1933. My wild card is RoboCop from the 80s. And my mindfuck is Annihilation.
Go ahead. I think everybody had a fucking great list.
These are
first of all.
all interesting, eclectic lists.
Is there anything that was left out of this conversation that
That's a good question. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when it got down to the wild card picks, guys, I had so many, like Everything Everywhere All at Once from this year.
That was on my list too.
Yeah.
And then I really wanted to mention
honorable
Prey.
mentions is a good one. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say Prey from this year. I really like too. The Predator sequel, and then the only other one that I wish I could have squeezed in because I really like it, but I feel like it's kind of divisive in this category. But it's J.J. Abrams' Super 8.
Oh,
I love that movie. It's like a giant monster, or it could have been, I guess, action too.
I just realized that I didn't put this in my giant monster category, and it's obvious. Pacific Rim.
Yes.
Ooh,
oh my God. I fucking left that one out. See, I would have put that in over The Host.
I was also surprised. Starship Troopers I had as a thing for giant monsters.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I was surprised nobody said Interstellar for Mindfuck because that one is one that's
on my list.
Yeah, people are always like, I don't understand what happened at the end of that fucking movie.
Donnie Darko is a good mindfuck too.
I had that on my
Donnie
list. I
Darko
had
was great. Yes.
Primer
I had on my list.
Report,
Yeah.
Moon.
That's a good one. I'll just throw in some honorable mentions as well for my mindfuck. I had Total Recall.
Yeah.
Arrival.
Oh, that's a good one.
Predestination.
Oh, that's I love that movie.
That's a crazy ass movie.
That's a crazy movie. Comedies. I wrote down Hot Tub Time Machine.
Sure, yeah.
Palm Springs. I
had Palm Springs.
I forgot about Palm Springs.
Idiocracy, Galaxy Quest.
Galaxy Quest. I had I had Short Circuit in there.
For my pre-1980, I had the original Planet of the Apes in there.
Yep.
I also had I really like this movie, Mighty Joe Young, in my pre-class.
Okay.
I had Close Encounters.
Close Encounters. I had in there.
And Clockwork Orange.
Clockwork and the original Star Wars would have worked. In that one also. And I also
what about a movie called Them, which was the giant ants attacking people?
Michael Giacchino is going to do a remake of that. And then
I had a bunch of like I had like Valley of Gwangi rolling through my head, like all these different old movies.
You want to know something that's really missing, and it's Blade Runner.
Yes, Blade Runner, and there's two of them, and they
and that's a great sequel as well. That's actually better than the first Blade Runner. So that's missing
Blade
a
Runner
lot.
is definitely missing in this conversation.
I want to shout out Charlie Kaufman's Eternal Sunshine too.
I love that movie so much.
That was on my mind.
I didn't think about that one. I love that movie.
So that I'm like regretting not putting Pacific Rim in there, but now I've completely blanked out. It was in the wrong list. It was in my action list, and not my giant monster list for some fucking ungodly reason.
What's that movie from 1999 with Cyrus, the guy that plays Cyrus the Virus?
Being John Malkovich.
Being John Malkovich. Would you consider that a sci-fi movie?
That's a mind fuck. That's absolutely
sci-fi movie, right?
And it would be sci-fi, because
they get small. And
weird things happen. There's a half a floor.
Right.
I would count it.
Yeah. No, there's a ton. I mean, I thought sci-fi would be an awesome category just because it's such a diverse category, and we've all watched a ton of sci-fi movies. But I mean, there's tons of movies here. We could have done way more categories. We could have done way more stuff.
Iron Man is a great sci-fi movie.
Oh, yeah. None of all the superhero movies.
All
we
the
just
MCU
basically
movies.
left out.
I know.
Yeah,
but
Guardians, anything Guardians. I mean,
any of those would have been all considered. That's why I'm glad I got the Superman in, just to represent that. Well, look, listener, now it's up to you on our social networks, and I will list the teams in the show notes for this episode. You will see. I'll post the thing with all of our teams, and you guys will vote on who you think has the best team. If you're not on social media, you can also email us, show@jockandnerd.com. Who's saying that?
Anthony. I'm just trying to incept people as we go.
Pick the nerd. Oh, you're doing an inception.
I picked Inception.
We will open this up for votes for maybe a week or two, and come back with a winner. See who drafted the best team of sci-fi movies. Lots of fun, Anthony. This is a great idea.
Yeah, and we can do this with other categories. We can
absolutely
we can
this
have
so many
as much fun as we want with different categories. So, this is definitely will have some legs.
That was fun. That
was glad. Everybody had a great list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I put these things together, you'll be able to see the list side by side. So choose wisely, listener. Send us your vote. Send us your favorite. We will declare a winner. All right, gang, let's do some news from the nation. It's time for news from the nation. It's time for news from the nation.
It stinks. It stinks. It stinks.
Those are all done live, Gerald. It's not a sound effect. Each one is unique like a butterfly every week.
I've been crop dusting this whole time.
I can smell it from here. One thing in the news from the nation, Justin Zwerner shared a link to the newly released Scream 6 trailer, asking Geek Boner or Floppy Jock. And look, I love these. I watched the first couple of movies. I kind of fallen off, but I did watch this trailer. I put it in here, and I know, Gerald, you're a big horror guy. Let's start with you. Scream 6. What'd you think of this trailer?
Let's fucking go.
Oh, shit,
I'm ready, dude. It is a Geek
awesome.
Boner to the tilt.
It's really good.
Geek Boner.
Yeah, it's a great fucking trailer. I feel like it may have given too much away, particularly the scene with Gail, Courtney Cox's character.
She's back.
She gets her. I don't know if you guys know that's their first phone call she's ever gotten from Ghostface in the whole
that's
series.
The first time he's called Courtney Cox.
Which was like a big fan thing that they were wondering if she's going to finally get her phone call. But yeah, I thought it was great. I mean, it was a lot of things I saw online afterwards where people were kind of freaked out that he had a shotgun and like cool. that's not a quote unquote slasher. But I'm like, come on, guys,
he's killing people.
We're in New York City. I mean, so I'm fine with it. I think it looks great. The mask is like worn and kind of like, kind of looks like it's been messed up a little bit. Yeah. So it's obviously going to be an old mask, maybe from a previous killer. Maybe I don't know.
Maybe the original mask.
But yeah, no, I think it looks fucking great. I'm a huge fan of this franchise. There hasn't, in my opinion, really been a dud in the franchise, and I love kind of how they always kind of reinvent it, but they still give you that kind of plot twist, but it still feels fresh. So I'm all in, man. I'm trusting in the franchise. I think it's going to be great.
I got to catch up on these movies because this trailer was actually really well done. The whole opening scene in the bodega, very tense, good jump scares. Jenna Ortega. I think she's a rising star. She was fantastic in Wednesday, and I was excited to see her in this. This girl's going to be everywhere. And then
she was in Scream 5 too. You know that, right? She was in the last one.
She was in the last one.
She's the final girl.
Yeah. Her and Melissa Barrera, they play sisters.
Yeah, Courtney Cox is probably not making it out of here alive, but a great moment in where you see out of focus in the background, the dude getting snatched.
Yeah.
And then in the train scene in the end, there's people like dressed up as all sorts of fucking horror characters, and there's a bunch of ghost face. I was like, the fuck is going on here? Anthony, what did you think? Are you caught up on these movies?
I'm not caught up. I watched the first three. I haven't watched. I'm not the biggest horror fan. That being said, I've always had fun with the Scream franchise, and they were fun for me as a teenager, just because they're a fun slasher flick. But I've grown to appreciate the commentary that they do, the meta-ness of it. So I should catch up on the last two because I've heard both are pretty good. But this trailer looked damn good. Right? I mean that the scene you mentioned at the end with them on the train and everyone being Ghostface. I was literally anytime a movie can make you go, what the fuck would I do in that situation? Right? I'm like, that's a good horror movie. Is me going, oh my god, if I was on a train and I saw all those Ghostface, like my guts are coming out. Like I'm dying. Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen. I can't get out of this. This is an insane concept. This is a really scary situation, and I am peeing my pants watching this.
Shout out to Hayden Panettiere's coming back too, which is a big deal. Kirby, she's a legacy character that was in Scream 4.
Oh, she's in Scream 4.
It was kind of ambiguous if she was dead or not, if her character died, but she's back. So rumor has it she's going to be a cop in New York City, and they kind of catch up with her when they're in New York. So
Scream is like the Knives Out of horror.
Yeah, I guess you just change the cast around and you bring one person back.
It's always a whodunit situation.
Yeah. Ruggs, what'd you think of it?
It looks fine. I mean, it looks like it's not a B movie. It looks like they put some money into it and they tried to make it good. So I'm not a big fan of like endless sequels of horror movies, like like the Halloween movies. They just keep making them. So I like the first initial one or two movies, and then I kind of like Final Destination. The first one was great. Whatever.
Same thing with me. Yeah, the first two are great.
So like I'm curious to always see the new horror movie, but like when it keeps being done over and over again, it's I get fatigued very quickly with that stuff. So, but I might be into watching this if it's on. I never watched any of the other ones, but like looks good.
Gerald, do you think this franchise is still good? How many more of these could they make?
50. It could go on forever.
Got it.
I mean, look, they're keeping the formula, like the basic formula, is intact. As long as you have that Ghostface character, you can really do anything. I mean, now they're going to be in New York City. I mean, I've heard that in the future they might do this thing where it's like kind of like a copycat situation where somebody wants to be a previous Ghostface and it gets handed down. I mean, there's always crazy people out there, unfortunately, in the real world. And I don't know, kind of like what Anthony was saying. I mean, if it's fun and if it appeals to the younger generation, which my daughter texted me about this. She's 21.
Yeah.
And she just texted me the other day that she's excited to see it. And I'm 47 and I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So I just feel like if they're able to kind of transcend and like appeal to people that are going to go out and see these movies, let's just do it forever, man. I'm fine. Let's go.
And they will. And they will.
I mean, it's like, like the Saw movies got silly and they were making those every year. Like,
I don't think this franchise has really fallen off the cliff, though, like those others.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like the quality is like terrible. I feel like that the Scream movies have they've had like big stars in them, you know, and so it still has its pedigree. So there's something to that. Even the Halloween movies pretty much kept their pedigree to a certain degree, but yeah,
Gerald,
they're going to keep making them.
Gerald, what do you think of this? This is the first one without Nev Campbell, right?
Yeah, I know.
What do you think about that?
I mean, part of me is dying inside because I hate it. I mean, she was the final girl. She's the Scream Queen. She's the face of the franchise, so to speak. But also, I mean, people don't live forever. Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't want to give anything away for Scream 5 because I know Imran just said he hasn't seen it. But I mean, these legacy characters, I mean, even if they don't get killed by Ghostface, they can't realistically continue to fight this fight. You know what I mean? Like, we have to hand it over to a new generation, to young siblings or whatever in the storyline, to kind of take over and keep the story going forward, because the Ghostface, the killer behind the mask, can be anybody. So why can't our protagonist be anybody? Do you know what I mean? We just have to learn to kind of let go a little bit as a society.
Oh my God, what if it's Nev Campbell?
Wait, what?
Maybe that's the secret they're hiding.
That's what I would do if I wrote it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, right.
They might resort to that. What's the best one in your opinion out of the 5 so far?
Oh God, the original is fucking far and away.
Who is the best final girl of all time? Is Nev Campbell the best final girl?
She's one of them. Probably Laurie Strode from the Halloween franchise. Okay. Jamie Lee Curtis,
the original.
Yeah. I mean, Jamie Lee. I mean, she's still doing it though. She was just in the most recent one. Yep.
Better than the final girl in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Was it Sally something Parkin? Sally, whatever.
Sally. Yeah, I'd say it's probably Jamie Lee.
Okay. Yeah, that's the most iconic one, right? That's the one everyone kind of copies.
Yeah, I mean, Nancy Thompson from Nightmare on Elm Street's a great one.
Mm-hmm.
But, the thing with Jamie Lee is like kind of what we were just talking about, where she is battling this killer her whole fucking life. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's 45 years later. If she's still trying to be that final girl.
How many of the Halloween movies has she been in?
She didn't. There was a chunk of them that she didn't do, what they call the Thorn trilogy, but she's been in probably
7.
I think there.
Oh shit!
If you're counting, well, don't count Rob Zombies because she obviously wasn't in those.
7.
So I think she was in 6 out of 9, I believe.
7, I think, right? Because you do the Halloween 1 and 2, then you do H2O.
Oh yeah, 7 because of the one that just came out too. Yes, so 7.
Okay, and then Resurrection, and then these 3. So
Jesus,
7.
Yep,
she
7.
said 7 Halloween movies. I had no idea. Wow, and she's great in everything, everywhere. Also,
yeah,
she could still kick ass.
She could get nominated tomorrow. By the way, she's one of the supporting actress names that's getting thrown around.
Oh, wow.
Gerald, I hope you enjoy your nomination morning. Thank you for hanging out and riding through this fucking shit show roller coaster that is the Jock and Nerd podcast.
No problem.
Tell the listener where they can find you, what you want them to do, where all your stuff is.
Well, I know you're going to drop the links for them, Imran, but all I'm trying to do right now is just kind of pump up my YouTube channel, which they can also find the podcast through there as well. So just go to youtube.com/2Ps on a podcast, or just search 2Ps on a podcast on YouTube, and you should be able to find me and subscribe. And like I said, there's links to the actual podcast audio show on there also. The Golden Peas are coming up, so I just want everybody to vote. I want to cast as many ballots as you guys can, and you can just go to 2psonapod.com/Golden Peas, and you'll see all the categories you can cast your vote for. And Imran will be joining me and a bunch of other guests on March 13th when we give out the winners. So
fun. It's going to be fun. There you go. A lot of things to do this episode, listener. You're going to vote on who had the best team. You're going to get Gerald some subscribers. You're going to vote on the Golden Peas, and you're going to watch the Golden Peas. All right? There it is. All the links in the show
notes. A lot of peas.
Ruggs, where can the listener find you online?
You can find me at Really Rug Boy on Twitter. Come follow me, and that's where I'll be. That's the only place you can find me.
All those links are in the show description, show notes for this episode, jockandnerd.com/470. A lot of important links in there. Make sure you click them, do the thing. Thank you for listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's the Nerd.
We'll peep you next time.
I really don't give a shit.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
Oh my God!
So long. Jock and Nerd.